Well, hello everyone, and welcome to APH's Virtual Excel Academy, Know Thyself and your IEP. What is an IEP and why do I have one? Well, we are going to find that out here in just a second. I want to remind everyone, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them into the chat and we will get to them as quickly as we can. I'm very excited to bring on our presenter, Karen Carl. Karen, it's all yours.
Great, thank you. Welcome, everybody. I'm so glad that you're here. I have a special friend today who's going to join us, and I hope that you enjoy having him join us. His name is Fort. He is a stuffed animal, and he looks like the coloring of a yellow lab, and he has a guide dog harness, and he has a name tag. So he's joining us and he's going to ask the very first question. And he says, hey, everybody, who has an IEP? Can you tell me if you have an IEP? Raise your hand if you have an IEP. I've got 2 people raise their hands. You can also share in the chat if you have an IEP. Oh, we have some graduates. Super. Great. Okay, and I bet we have some friends that might not have an IEP because they've graduated or for some other reason they just decided to join us, and that's okay too. We're glad to have everybody here. So we're going to be talking about IEPs. So what's an IEP? You know what I just thought about? I asked that question and I haven't even told you who I am. I introduced Ford and I didn't tell you who I am. That's awfully silly of me. Oh my gosh. Well, anyway, I'm going to introduce myself really fast. My name is Karen Carl and I teach kids who are blind and visually impaired in a school district near St. Louis, Missouri. I love teaching kids and I am excited to have this great opportunity to teach you over the internet. So I'm glad for all of my friends who are here today and all of you who are going to be watching this at another time. I'm so glad you're here. Learning about an IEP is really important because it's all about you and you're pretty important, right? So on your IEP, I bet you're wondering, what the heck? It's the letters. I don't know what those letters mean. What are they? Well, they're an individualized education program. And it tells your teachers and therapists and anybody else who needs to know, like sometimes your mom and dad want a doctor to know about these things, how you're doing in school and what you're learning in school. So it tells your teachers and therapists all about you and everything you need to know about school and how you do school, what makes you successful, and what are the things you need to learn. So I'm going to ask a question. Now I've just told you, so I bet I have some excellent rememberers here. So I want to know, what is an IEP? I'm going to give you 2 choices. Your first choice is icky elephant plop or an individualized education program. So 1, icky elephant plop, or 2, individualized education program. I've got a 2, another 2, another 1, Super. Great. Yes, it is not Icky Elephant Plop. I just thought that would be funny. And it was awfully silly. I think it was a great idea. Oh, Fort, that's awfully silly of you. Okay, so my next question is, what is it for? I know, it's to help zoo workers. Well, let's ask everybody else for it. Is it one, to help me plan at school for what I'm doing at school, or is it two, to help zoo workers? Zoo workers, I think it's zoo workers. Did you come up with Icky Elephant Plop? Yep. Fort's crazy. I see a bunch of ones coming up. Okay, yes, it helps us plan for what you're going to do at school. And I wonder, why do you have one? I think we're going to talk about that as we go here. And we're going to also talk about what do you know about your IEP and what kind of bonus teachers you have. So I'm going to call all those extra teachers that you have, like your occupational physical therapist, if you have an O&M therapist or a TVI, teacher of the visually impaired, I'm going to call all of them your bonus teachers, okay? So when you hear me say bonus teachers, that's all the people who you get to see other than just your regular classroom teacher, okay? Okay, so we are ready. I am going to share an IEP for Fort. Now, not all of it applies to Fort, but some of it does. And we're going to see what kind of things Fort needs to work on. Me? Why do I have to work on stuff? Because you're still learning to be a guide dog, aren't you? Yep. Okay, Fort, calm down. Okay. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. And we're going to look at Fort's IEP. Okay, everybody. Now we've got Fort's IEP. It tells us on our very first page that it has, this is called your demographic page. Ooh, that's a big word. It is a strange word. What in the world does demographic mean? Well, it tells your personal information. So it tells about your name. If you look and see, there's your name, there's Fort's name. And his birthday was February 14th, 2019. He's 3 years old. And if he has mom and dad's, his address, where he lives, who his case manager is. Let's see, it talks about an annual IEP, when we're having his IEP or had his IEP, which one we have, okay. And we also have something really important that I want you to pay attention to is your reevaluation date. Ooh, reevaluation, what's that? Well, it's important, and I'm going to tell you about it because it's part of your homework. No, homework. Yes, you have a little homework, and it'll be a great activity for you and your parents or your teacher. Okay, so your reevaluation date happens every 3 years. Every 3 years, your team has to look at what you know, and if they think things have changed a little bit, maybe something's changed. Maybe Donnie was really struggling with math, And then he got really good at it. So it's changed. Maybe we have some other friends where things have changed and they got to take some tests that told us, well, what do they learn well and what do they need help with? Because our IEP helps us learn. I see, do I have some questions that I need to answer, Mr. Scott?
Donnie, did you want to ask a question? I know your hand was raised. You can go ahead and unmute if you'd like. And you can just do an Alt-A. Okay. I think he dropped it in the chat, so we'll go ahead with that.
Oh, okay. Can you enlighten me on the chat, please?
Yes.
Because I see the list of names, but I don't see the chat.
Donnie mentioned that he was struggling with Spanish.
Oh, okay. Great. Well, that would be a great reason to have something like an IEP. But since you're not in school, I bet you have some other ways that you're getting some help. So thank you for sharing that. Okay. So your 3-year annual IEP that you're annual evaluation, is going to come up every 3 years. So you can see it looks like Fort had an evaluation on March of 2019. And the next one is supposed to be, oh, let's see, that should be, oh my goodness, that means, no, yes, you get to look, they get to look and see if you need to get some extra information. Do we? Well, I don't know, that's part of an IEP team. Did you know that there's a lot of people that get together to help you decide what you need to learn and what you need to work on? There's a lot of people. And here's the list. Your mom and dad or your guardian. You can, if you're it depends on where you live as to when you get to join your IEP. But I'm going to say that most of you are probably old enough that you should be joining your IEP, the meeting. And your principal, your teacher of the visually impaired, your regular teacher, somebody that helps you understand the evaluation, sometimes your counselor, if you have an orientation mobility teacher, if you have any bonus teachers, they should, if they can't come, they usually write something down so that we have their information. Okay, so we've just talked about our demographic page. All right, so I'm going to see if everyone's been listening, both at home and on the video, watching later. Okay, so is your demographic page for, I know, for, what do you think it is? I think it's the population of my state. Well, that's a big word, but I don't know. Let's ask everybody else. Is it number 1, my personal information or your personal information? Or is it number 2, the population of my state, like Fort says? I think it's population of my state. What does everybody else think? Getting lots of ones. Okay, great.
And Bode actually has a question he'd like to ask. Would this be a good time for him to ask that?
That would be great.
Okay, Bode, you can go ahead and unmute.
Sorry about that.
There you go.
When you talk about like the testing, does that include like the Georgia numeracy testing and that kind of thing?
Testing, is that what you're talking about? Oh, okay. This is like academic testing is one of the things that they test a lot of times, and that's checking to see how you are at learning social studies, science, math, English, writing, reading. They test that. That's all called academic testing. Another thing they might test is your IQ, which is your ability to learn. Another thing they might test if you have speech or language difficulties or challenges, your speech language teacher might do some testing to see, well, we think they might have some trouble, but let's find out what the tests will tell us for sure what kind of difficulty you might have if that's something you need. So like all your bonus teachers, you have to usually have some kind of testing to say, yeah, they really do need this extra help. So we're going to allow your bonus teachers to make a goal for you. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? It looks like everybody. Oh, we have somebody who agrees with Fort. Oh, Donnie says, why did the TVIs come to the IEP? Well, your teacher of the visually impaired, everybody here on the in-person has a vision impairment of some kind. When you have a vision impairment of some kind, you usually have a teacher of the visually impaired. Now, I guess it's possible you don't, but usually you do if you're visually impaired. So that's why they come, because they're a very important part of your IEP team and helping decide what is it you need to learn. Okay. All right. So the answer for it, unfortunately, was not population. The answer was my personal information. The demographic page is about my personal information. Okay. Okay. So now we're going to move on to the next page. All right. Our next page is called the present level of academic achievement and functional performance. Oh my gosh, what a big mouthful. Ah! We call it just the present level where I am. And that's a little easier than all those words. Oh my gosh. Wow. So it has questions that give us a big overview of you and how your disability affects you, what you're good at, what are some concerns. So for instance, it says, well, how does the child's disability affect their involvement in progress in school? I said Fort was in school to become a guide dog. Now, he doesn't have a disability necessarily, but he is in school to learn, and he's in school to be a guide dog. So the strengths of Fort is that he likes to run and play. He's very friendly. He likes to give dog kisses. Yeah. He learns commands quickly. Yeah, I'm really good at that. That's good. Okay, and then there is an area for concerns, and there was one concern, and it was that Fort not chase squirrels when he's working. Oh man, I like to chase squirrels. Oh, well, that's nice, but you're not supposed to do that when you're working. Can I when I'm not working? Yes, you can, as long as you're not working with your person. Okay. So you also have an area where you talk about changes in function. This is all just like an update of what you're doing in class and it is what your vision is like. If you learn Braille, they'll talk about how you're doing in Braille. If you have orientation mobility, they'll talk about how you're doing in that. So all your bonus teachers write about how you're doing, including your regular teacher, your regular classroom teachers. If you're in high school, you got more than one regular classroom teacher, right? Okay. So I have a silly question, but I'm going to answer it anyway because I like it. I like the question. The question says, what breed is my puppet? Well, my puppet is actually a stuffed animal, and I consider him a golden retriever. He doesn't have the long nose of a golden retriever, but he has the color and the ears. So that's what I think. Okay. All right. Some other things that they put on this is how you did on your last reevaluation, how you did on state tests. If you're a student right now, you know there's probably some state tests coming up. In Missouri, we call them the MAP test or EOC, end of course examination. Oh, I bet you guys have some of that coming up too. So everybody gets to do that when you're in school. And so that gets part of your IEP. So we know how you did and what your scores were. Our district has assessments that they keep track of too. So they have everybody take like quarterly tests and to make sure you're learning. And let's see. There's more things on here. There's stuff about transition. So if you're 16 years or older, then you are.
How did you hear? Because
okay, if you are 16 years or older, you're going to have a transition document, and that talks about three things. It talks about how are you at daily living skills? So I hope you all are working really hard on those because those are really important for your independence. It talks about what are you going to do after high school as far as where are you going to live? That's part of your daily living skills. The other one is where are you going to go to school or training if you're going to do that? And oh no, it can't wander from everybody. Oh, think of it. Come on, think of it. Oh, golly, my brain, where you're going to school. Oh, and what kind of job you might have. Okay, so transition documents, they might have an assessment that they do. Some of your teachers are probably working on it right now with you. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. And then in my school district, I bet all of you have had to work at home for school because of COVID. Raise your hand if you've got to work at home because of COVID instead of go to school. I got 2 people. So 2 people got to work at home. Okay. Well, okay, and 2 there, 2 at Bridges, great. 3, okay. So if you're at home, think about that too. And I bet all of us have had different amounts of time that we got to work at home instead of go to school. And at the school building, we had school at home instead. My school district only did it that very first year that everybody got scared about COVID. And then we went back to school. Is anybody still doing school at home? Anybody still doing, raise your hand if you're still doing school at home. And I bet maybe some of our friends who are watching later might be doing that. Okay, Donnie, okay. And Donnie asked me something that I think is important to think about. He asked if it tells us if you're going to go to a day program or is that separate. So on your transition document, it might say yes, instead of for your education, or it might say it in your where are you going to live. It might say that you're going to live at home and go to a day program, or a day program might be in your training type of thing. So they might talk about it in your IEP. So that's a good question. Thanks for asking that. Okay. Oh, we do have somebody who's still doing school at home. Great. Okay. All right. So that is your present level. So let's see if you guys are paying attention. Ford, are you paying attention? Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Let's see if you know the answer to this. My question is, what is your present level for? What is it? Is it number one? Oh, I know. Well, okay. What do you think it is? It's my store on Pokemon. You play too much Pokemon. I know, right? Okay, well, Ford thinks it's Pokemon, so we'll say that's answer number one. And I say, well, maybe it tells about my disability and how it affects me. So that's number two. So what is your present level? Okay, we got two for everybody. Ford, you come up with some crazy answers. Oh, but that makes it fun, doesn't it? Yeah, it makes it fun. Okay, all right. Our next page. Now, I don't know, since everybody lives in a different place, they might have this page and they might have it look different. So this is the way it looks in my IEP, and maybe you have this as well. So you'll just have to check that out. That's part of checking out your IEP. That's part of your homework. Homework. Yeah, homework. Okay. This is called a special considerations page. It's going to ask things like, are you blind and visually impaired? And we're all going to say, yep. And are you deaf or hearing impaired? Well, guess what? I wear hearing aids. So I would probably say yes, especially today when one of my hearing aids died on me. Oh dear. It asks if you have behaviors that are getting in the way of learning. Do you have behavior sport? No, I don't think so. Okay, well, if you did, they might have a behavior plan to help you when you get frustrated. Sometimes people have trouble with frustration, stubbornness. Yeah. So maybe they need to write something down so that they can help you with that. Okay. If you're in the United States and you've only been here for less than a year, just a couple of months, then knowing English might be sort of hard. There's a question for that. If you are just learning English. Communication needs, that's if you have difficulty speaking and telling what you need to other people to know, or understand what people say to you. Assistive technology, I bet everybody has assistive technology. Raise your hand if you have assistive technology. I wonder, does everybody know what that means? Okay. Three raising their hands at bridges. Okay. So, Fort, do you know what assistive technology is? No, I don't think so, because I think I have some. Well, what is it? It's my guide dog harness. Oh, well, I don't think that's assistive technology. I think assistive technology is things like an iPad. Yep, somebody has a Vizio. Awesome. A closed circuit television, magnifier of some kind, a braille writer, all sorts of stuff. A computer, but it doesn't have to be a computer. Dynavox, oh, super. Great. A touch screen that helps you access a computer or an iPad. Yep. Awesome. Great. I'm glad everybody came up with some good ideas for me. The next question asks, do you need to go to summer school? It's called extended school year. It's a little different than summer school, but so this is the question is when summer comes or Christmas, I should say winter break, or spring break happens, do you forget a lot of information and then come back to school and go, oh no, I don't know how to do that anymore? Well, then that would be a reason for you to go to extended school year. So that means you work on your IEP goals during the summer. You don't go full time. It's not the same length. It might be a few days a week. It might be a couple hours a week. It might be just 2 weeks long and that's it. So it all depends on your school as to whether you go to extended school year. Raise your hand if you've ever done extended school year. Okay. All right. Okay. So it just gives us another opportunity to learn some more so we don't forget so much. Because when we forget, then we get a little, we all get a little frustrated. One other question is, are you going to turn 18? Because guess what happens when you're 18? Not all the time, but most of the time you become your own guardian. So your parents are your guardians until you're 18. And when you turn 18, unless your guardians decide you go through a big long process, there's a process for that not to happen. But for the most part, you're your own guardian, which means you get to make the decisions for yourself. So you are the primary person who runs your IEP. Oh, me? Yeah, you. When you turn that old. Oh, well, I'm a dog. I don't think I'm going to last that long. Well, you never know. My dog is 17. I have a border collie mixed doggie, and she is 17 years old. That's kind of old for a doggie. Okay. The next thing is, are you going to take state assessments and which kind, that kind of stuff? Are you going to take district tests and what kind? If you're 16 or older, your transition document, which I talked about already. And the other one question is, what are you going to do if school, you can't go to school and you have to do school at home again or still? So you make a plan for that. Okay. Huh. Well, there was a lot there, even though it seemed sort of simple to me. There was still a lot there. So what is your special considerations page all about? I know. Fort, are you going to give me a good answer this time? Yeah. Okay. What does it help you decide? What I'm going to have for dinner? Oh, I'm hungry. Oh, Fort. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to say number one is special considerations tells what kind of forms are in my IEP. And 2 is helps me decide what to eat for dinner. So what do you guys think? I've got some 1s, and my friends at home think about that too. Those who are watching later. Okay, we've got lots of 1s. Okay, so yes, it tells what kind of forms are in your IEP, because almost all of these will give you a form. So there's a special form that tells about if you're blind and visually impaired. We have to just talk about if you're going to learn Braille. If it's important for you to learn Braille, you'll have, we call it Form A, might be different in your state, but they have to decide, is Braille something that you need to learn or use? Okay. If you have communication needs, you probably have a speech language therapist. You might have a goal for assistive technology. You'll probably have a goal for your communication if that's needed. There's a form for extended school year. There's a form for transfer of rights. Almost all of these have a form, a page of some kind. Okay, so I bet we have some people use large print and some people use Braille. That's right. Okay. All right. So we figured out what a special consideration page is. Now comes the fun part, your goals. Yay. Your goals are all the great things that your bonus teachers are going to teach you. And so like, for example, I have one O&M goal for Fort. Me? Yeah, you. Oh, okay, what is it? It says, O&M, to increase his ability to follow basic commands, sit, stay, come, go, stop, to 80% on 5 out of 5 data days by the end of this IEP. And right now you do it at 40%. Is that good? Well, it's a good place to start, but I bet 80% is better. What do you think? Yep, that's better. That's better. You think you can do it? Yes, I think I could do it. Okay, super. Well, you can work on that with your teacher, with your bonus teacher. Oh, good. Okay, so we also might have some objectives. So he has some objectives that he will respond to commands with voice and hand commands. I might put one in there that says he'll get a treat every time he does it right. And then I might give him one that says commands with voice only, so he can just listen. Okay. So I wrote one other goal for you. What's that? Oh, it's great. It says Fort will attend to guide dog duties when working. I didn't give all those numbers about how much yet. I haven't gotten that far. Oh, okay. So I think that we want to make sure that you don't approach strangers without permission. Oh, you mean I can't go up to people and just talk to them? No, you have to have permission first. And we don't want you to bark or socialize with other dogs when you're working. I like talking to other doggies. Yeah, I know you do. And he will not pull to chase a squirrel or other animal. Oh, I like squirrels. Yeah, I know you like squirrels. You need to chill out a little bit. Silly dog. Okay. All right. So let's see your goals. It says, I wonder what crazy thing Fort will come up with. I know what it is. All right. What are your goals? It's my goal ball score. Oh, okay. Well, it does have something to do with goals. I'm going to say that's choice number 1. It's my goal ball scores. And choice number 2 is what I'm going to learn this year. What are your goals? 2. I have 1, 2. Okay, here we go. Oh, there we go. More 2s. 2s, 2s, 2s. Gosh, you guys are so smart. I bet everybody who's listening later is pretty smart too. I bet you all have it before it comes up with some crazy ideas. That one was sort of close though, wasn't it? Good job. Thank you, everybody. We're still sharing. Good job. Thank you. I love how everybody is participating and helping me learn about IEPs. Are you learning a lot for it? Yeah, I'm learning a lot. Okay. We're ready to go on to our next one. This next one is called a services summary. This tells how much time you get to work with your bonus teachers. So if you have 300 minutes in task-related skills weekly, and it's in special education, you might have some in the community, like in orientation mobility. You might work in the community. You also might have a teacher, one of your bonus teachers, come into your class, and that would be in the regular education class. It also might have supplementary things. That would be if you have adult support. So if you have a paraprofessional that helps you, or if you have a Braille writer, they might put this here. If you have a teacher that just checks on you once a month, they might be there. Okay. And it also tells on mine that we're going to tell you more about modifications and accommodations on another form. Okay, so that one was pretty simple. Okay, so this is I called it it's called a services summary on my IEP. So somewhere in your IEP, you're going to have times of how much you get to see your bonus teachers. So, Fort, what do you think the time is for? What do you think this service summary is for? I think it's what time I get up in the morning. Okay, well, we'll make that choice number 1, what time you get up in the morning. And number 2, we're going to say it's how often I see my bonus teachers. I got 2, 2. Yeah, you're right. It's how often you see your bonus teachers. I had a good question. It says, do I need new IEP goals every semester? Not usually. You do your IEP once a year. So 364 days from the time you did your last IEP, you need to have another IEP. It can be any time before 364 days. So there's how many in a year? 365. So you have to meet one day sooner than 365, which makes it 364. Oh, good job, Fort. Good job. Okay. So you don't usually get new goals every semester. You usually get them once a year, new goals once a year. However, if you meet all of them, then your team might say, hey, I think it's time for you to get some new goals. And they might meet in 3 months or 6 months instead of 12. So it can happen. It can happen. 3 new messages. I've got some new messages. Oh, look at that. Modify goals. Okay. Right. You can modify the goals. So each year when we meet, we decide what you need to work on. And they might change them completely. They might add some, they might take some away. And they might take something that says, well, no, like 40% of the Braille code, and they might change it to they will know 80% of the Braille code. Okay, so they might make it so that you know more than you knew last year. You're still working on some of the same stuff, but you're gonna know more this coming year. Okay, how are we doing? All right, we're doing pretty good. Pretty good, pretty good. We've got some other pages I'm gonna kind of scroll through and not worry too much about. They will ask somewhere in there, at least in my IEP, they ask if you need adapted physical education or if you're gonna take regular PE with accommodations. So that is an important thing that I bet you all, and everybody enjoys PE. And it's even more fun when you have things accessible to you and can play them all the way to your ability, like goal ball is an awesome, fun PE activity. Okay, and for those who may not, I know I would say that if you're going to a school for the blind, that you know what goal ball is. If you don't go to a school for the blind or hang out there sometimes, you might not know what goal ball is. It's a sport that is designed for people to play who don't have sight, or if they have sight, they have to wear blindfolds. So nobody's allowed to see what's going on. They have to listen. They have to listen for the ball and they have to keep the other team from scoring. So it's a fun game. Okay, there's a sweet and simple one that talks about how much you're in the regular classroom. There's a question if you're going to your home school or if you're going to like a state school, or maybe for some reason they have you in a different high school than what you would people in your neighborhood go to. They ask that question. Here's Form A that decides if you need Braille instruction, and if so, how much and how often and how good are you going to be at it when you're all done. Okay, MAP is our state test, and so they ask, what are some things that you need to be able to, yeah, I'm checking on this. Okay, sorry, thank you. What do you need to be successful at tests? So do you need a specialized calculator that talks? Do you need to be able to use Zoom to make things bigger? Do you need Braille? Maybe you need somebody to read to you. If you need somebody to read to you or write your answers for you, then you would probably have it in a separate setting. That means in a classroom where other people aren't taking the same test, because if you're talking, then they might find out answers from you. We wouldn't want that. Okay. So, if you need other assistive technology, if you need an abacus, okay. So those are some things that they ask to make sure when you take a test, what do you need? Okay, so testing accommodations. What do you think? We just talked about that. Is it? I know what it is. Are you sure for it? Yep, I'm sure. I think it's my personality traits. That's what I think. Oh, okay. Personalities traits. That's choice number 1. And choice number 2, testing accommodations tell me what I need to do to help me take tests. What do you guys think? Oh, everybody's got it at home. What do you think? Those of you who are watching it later, what do you think? Is it my personality traits or what we need to do to help me take tests? Okay, I see number 2s all over the place. Okay. So let's see what other fun things we have on here. Oh, here we go. Form F is what it is on our IEP. It's called Classroom Accommodations and Modifications. Now, pay attention because I'm going to ask you this, and it's hard. I have to remember which one is which. It says accommodations and modifications. Well, aren't they the same thing? I think they're the same thing. Well, why would they put both of them then? I don't know. Okay, let's see. Accommodations means a different way to learn what everyone else is learning. So you're in math with all of your peers, with your regular education teacher, okay? So if they're in algebra, you're in algebra. If they're in world history, you're in world history. But it's what you need to be successful in there. So if you need Braille or large print, or maybe you need a closed circuit television or electronic magnifier of some kind. Okay. Oh, somebody has a comment. They said they were told some state testing doesn't allow for accommodations. Here's where it gets tricky. When we've run into that, it's because it was not on this Form F. It was not on this form. So this is every day when you're in regular school. So if every day in regular school, you need Braille, you need a talking calculator, whatever it is you need, and you use it in school and it's on this form, then they should also allow it for your state testing. It should be on that form for state testing. And then your state should allow it. The only time it's been a problem for us is when my students were taking college tests like ACT and I'm trying to think of the other one. You forgot. Now be nice. Ugh. Okay, so they do allow modifications. They just have to be in your IEP. That's one other reason why your IEP is so important. It's really important because it talks about what you need to learn. It talks about how you can learn and what we need to do to help you learn the best that you can. Okay, so all this information really needs to be in your IEP so that you can get what you need for state tests. Okay, so for example, maybe the person needs Braille or digital or audio for text. It asks, what do you need for tests? It asks in the environment, do you need something like preferential seating so that you're right next to, maybe you have a CCTV that needs to be plugged in, or maybe you have a laptop or other special technology that needs to be plugged in. Maybe you have an electronic Braille writer. Okay, so you're going to sit there, or if you can see but not very well, then you might be near the front. Okay, assignments, what kind of adaptations do we need, or accommodations do we need? Okay, reinforcement, if you need somebody to ask regularly, what they are, what things mean. Kind of like Fort and I are asking questions every once in a while, right? Other things like, do you need an end locker with a specialized lock or extra passing time when you're going from one building to another? Maybe you have a really big school campus. Okay, so we were talking about the difference between accommodation and modifications, but we haven't talked about modifications yet. No, we haven't talked about it. Okay, patience, Fort. Okay, so really quick, modifications are changing what I learned compared to my friends. So if everybody's in Algebra 2 and I'm still learning Algebra 1, then maybe I need to learn it a lot slower because math is really hard for me. And it takes extra time and extra materials and extra practice for me to learn it. Then I might be in a small group setting where I'm with like maybe 6-10 kids instead of 30. And that way I can get more help and I'm not frustrated because I'm running out of time like we are for a seminar. For it's almost over. Oh no, I know, right? This has been so much fun and I'm so glad you came and sat with me so that you could learn about your IEP. Now, don't forget, you have an extension activity. It is to learn about your own IEP, okay? I want to make sure that you understand what you need and so that you can be more independent and you can help your teachers plan what you need to learn and what you want to learn, okay? So sharing that with your teachers is great. You can share with them, I want to make sure I know how to use JAWS. So I want to make sure that we work on it this school year, okay? So that might be something you would share. So make sure you write down when your next IEP should happen. Write down when your next evaluation should happen. Read over your present level. Write down anything you think that is important or you think should be added. If you think something's out of date and isn't true anymore, you can talk to your teachers about that and say, hey, why do you have that in there? Because I thought I was better at that. And they might explain why, or they might say, you're right. Okay. So read over your goals. Make an action plan of what, when, and how you will accomplish these goals. And read over your modifications and accommodations. Guys, it's been so much fun. I'm so thankful for this opportunity to teach you about your IEP. I hope you have a great evening. And for those of you who are watching at another time, I hope that you have a good rest of your day. Thanks for having me and for learning with me.
Oh, thank you so much, Karen. This was awesome. Thanks to both of you, actually, for being with us today. We look forward to next week. College prep is going to be the topic for the next 3 weeks, starting next Wednesday at the same time. So we look forward to seeing you then. Again, Karen, thank you for your time, for putting all this together for us. And we really enjoyed our time with you. I'm wishing all of you a great evening, and hopefully we'll see many of you next week. Take care, everyone.
Bye.